Hi, good morning, partners. Thanks for being here. And we have our team, uh, Technical Solutions. And before I introduce them, I thought we will quickly broadcast the webinar and wait for a few more minutes. Generally we get participants joining in at the last moment. So kindly wait for another 5 minutes. I'll roughly start this webinar around 11:01, 11:02. Thank you. Talk to you all soon. Hi, for the partners who have recently joined, we will start the webinar, say, in a couple of minutes. Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Navni. I'm from the Central Partner team, and I'm currently working with different teams across Zoho to conduct such webinars. This is a part of the partner enablement initiatives that we have taken recently. So, giving an overview of this webinar, real estate vertical. This is the third webinar of this kind. So we started off with the manufacturing vertical as a part of series one, and we had series two last week. And we have got good feedback from our partners. Some of the partners have reached out us via email, and the pre-sales team, the vertical solutions team headed by Archana and Sai and all. We have been interacting on a regular basis to understand what kind of support our partner needs, and we're trying to meet those ends. Having said that, this series will be on real estate. Uh, a quick overview about the team that is present here. Starting off with Archana, who heads the vertical solutions from the partner pre-sales side. And today's keynote speaker will be Varun. He is the solution consultant from Zoho Pre-Sales. And we also have Mayor again and Sri Bachchan, who are a business analyst from Zoho Pre-Sales. I think you're able to hear me properly. Sorry that my video is not working today. And over to Varun. You can quickly introduce yourself, and if you want to run any poll, we can start off quickly. Varun, how do you say after your introduction, or you want me to run now?
I think you can start off with a poll, Navni, and then I'll start my introduction. No issues.
Sure. So, as I was saying that since this is the third webinar in the vertical solution phase, we thought we'll run a quick poll to understand what kind of audience that we have today. So, starting off the first one, what describes your familiarity with the real estate industry vertical? Are you new or familiar with this? Okay. And quickly to the next poll. How many customers do you get in general for this sector? Okay. I think, Varun, we have enough votes for you to get a gauge on how where we are, and probably you can please quickly introduce yourself and what today's agenda and all. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Navni, for that. So, good morning, everybody. Welcoming you all to the next webinar session that we have lined up for today. So, our focus would be on the real estate vertical. So, let me introduce myself. So, I'm Varun, and I've been part of the pre-sales team for over 5 years right now. And today's agenda, so I would like to show that view. Let me just put it on the screen. So, in a bit. So just like I mentioned, our focus would be on the real estate vertical. And today's agenda, so we will touch upon the real estate industry. So what exactly is the real estate industry? So you'll have a glimpse of that. And then we'll move over to the business process that is followed or in the industry. And then we'll also take a look into the main components that makes up the real estate industry. And finally, we'll finish it off with just taking a look at the some of the challenges that just like any other industry, even the real estate industry class faces these days. So that's the agenda. So first with introduction, right? So anything with regards to any industry. So any industry will have its own, key ingredients and components, etc., which makes up the sector, right? Just like that. So with regards to the real estate sector, right? So with regards to that, there are key players involved just like any other industry. There are builders. In this case, there are builders, developers, landowners, government bodies or regulatory authorities, real estate agents, brokers, omni-channel partners, and finally the customers. So what exactly is the real estate sector, right? So that involves, as you all know, right, that involves basically you're buying, lending, leasing, or selling and development of properties and lands. So properties can be residential, commercial, and industrial properties. So just like any other industry, even real estate is influence, or is related to external factors. So external factors like market demand, stringent government policies will also in turn impact the industry. Along with that, interest rates offered by the finance banks out there, and even economic conditions of a specific country or district, anything like that, or location, will correlate back to the industry. It will affect the industry directly itself. So that's what industry, if I talk about the real estate industry. So not just that. So within the real estate solution, right, or what are the solutions available across the real estate sector? So there are different solutions that is available for the real estate sector. So for example, it will be something like a real estate management or real estate acquisition. So if you want a solution for managing the real estate acquisition part, there are solutions available. So which will allow you to basically streamline the entire process of acquisition. So along with that, it might be the property management solution. So which will even streamline the property management side of things within the real estates. On top of that, there are also solutions that you can use for managing the finance operation side of the real estate vertical. So there are different solutions, and the benefits are umpteen. All right. So within this sector, I think some people are aware of. So there are also key policies that are very valid in the sector. So based on the location or based on the country, the policies might vary. But since we are talking about the real estate, also we'll be focusing on real estate sector within India. So there are certain policies like RERA. So basically RERA is the Real Estate Regulatory Act, which was passed in 2016. And there are state-wise regulations that is followed under RERA. I think you are aware about that. So along with that, there are Benami Transactions Act. And even so recently, I think everybody's aware about the housing, affordable housing, initiatives done by the central government, right? Some of them like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So those kind of things have been in the sector. And there are also certain norms, right? So there have been changes in the arbitration norms, which is very vital when we talk about the property transactions, right? And along with that, GST and other tax exemptions are also involved within the sector. So that's like an overview about the real estate sector. So let's take a look into what else makes up the real estate sector, right? So there are also sub segments within the real estate, right? So something like a residential segment, or a commercial segment, or even an industrial and infrastructure segment. So all these names are self-explanatory, but still I'll just deep dive a bit into this. So residential, as you know, anything related to housing needs, right? So be it individual villas, multi-story buildings, apartments, townships. So this makes the residential segment within the real estate. So moving on to the commercial segment, as you know, office spaces, co-working spaces, shopping malls, retail outlets, restaurants, anything to do with hospitality spaces or recreational centers, so whatnot. So it will come under this commercial segment. And the third segment, which is related to industries and infrastructures, right? So be it anything regards to industries, right? Factories, warehouses, industrial parks, beg your pardon, airports, hospitals and medical establishments, and even special economic zones, SECs, fall under this segment. So there are, as you can see, there are subdivisions and segments that is part of the real estate sector. So we have to basically align the solution that is available for a specific real estate firm accordingly. So this is just a small dive into that. So moving forward, so let's take a look at the real estate industry as such. All right. So there is something that every industry and every sector might follow, right? The business process, or maybe the different teams involved in an industry, and different teams working together in tandem to basically to roll out the operations within the industry. So that as such, so we also have something that we have found out that is relevant in the real estate operations within the vertical. All right. So as you can see, there are different teams involved over here, right? So starting from the land, the legal, licensing team, projects team, engineering, purchase team, sales, finance, HR, etc., and even expenses. So there are a lot of teams working together within the real estate industry. So we have to, find out a solution as such that will take into account all of these operations, so that it'll be streamlined together as a solution. All right. So what exactly, how exactly this works, right? So the land, so everything with regards to the real estate industry or property acquisition, right? Starts with property acquisition or a land acquisition. So that's where the land team comes into the picture. They'll identify property and they'll do the necessary background check of the property. They'll gather the relevant documents that is needed to acquire the property, and then comes a legal team, which will take care of the legal side of things. And there is also something known as a licensing, right? So licensing team will be there to basically carry out all the documents, clearances or NOC clearances or even environmental clearances that are required directly from the government authority. So they will act like a mediator between the government bodies and the specific legal teams or the real estate firm. So a lot of teams involved as such, as you can see. So let's take a bit of a deep dive into one of the process over here. So it will be the land acquisition side. So as I mentioned, the land acquisition side is very important with regards to a real estate vertical, right? So land is the thing that has to be properly handled, and they have to properly acquire it, and they have to get the specific clearances and approvals from all the government authorities, and so that there will be no legal complications down the line, maybe when the construction begins or before the construction starts. Those kind of things should be taken care in a proper way. So with regards to the process, so we'll take a bit of a specific deep dive into this land acquisition roadmap. So for example, it starts from the land acquiring part, right? So we have to identify a land. All right, there will be a team, right? As I mentioned, the land team will identify the land, and they will just cross-check, cross-verify the documents. They'll pass on documents to the legal team. They'll verify if there are complications, existing complications or legalities right now with the existing owner, and they'll verify the documents, and they'll cross-verify, validate the private documents, whether it has all the details in regards to the owner, the land survey map is properly done, or relevant land documents have been submitted. Those kind of things will be verified by the legal team. And along with that, if any other additional documents are required, they will collect the relevant documents and they will pass it on to the licensing team for further approvals, right? So once the legal team comes into the picture, they'll identify all these things and they'll pass it on to the licensing officer, which will get the approvals, relevant NOCs from the government bodies, and maybe environmental clearance from the government authorities and regulatory authorities. Those kind of things are covered by the licensing officer. So once that is done, so that is pretty straightforward, right? So there are all these things, in tandem, working in tandem to figure out a solution or streamline the land acquisition road map that I've just shown you. So all these documents that I've gathered so far, be it the sales documents or be it the purchase documents, agreements that need to be taken into account for purchasing the land. So all these documents, everything should be stored somewhere, right? So that is where some of the solutions can be suggested, right? So what do you think over here? Do you think that all these real estate firms have a solution to streamline all of this? So be it the land acquisition, be it the legal verification part, or be it the approval part of the acquisition, or be it the licensing part or document management part, or even once everything has been acquired, right? Even once they acquire the land, and even to streamline the project and construction side of things. Do you think that all these real estate firms have a solution? I don't think so. So that's how it usually works. All right. So once the land has been acquired, what happens is they will pass on to the projects team, right? They will do the estimation, those estimation and budget planning is done. And once the specific approvals have been, we have got the approvals, they will go into the construction stage of the real estate property. All right, that's how it usually works. So with regards to a specific thing, we have also been able to identify some of the key components that makes up the industry over here. All right, so this is what we have identified. So there are different components or features that we believe will make up the or streamline the real estate operations in the sector. So it will start with the lead or tenant management. Then we'll have the broker management, property management, sales management, pre-construction, construction management, material inventory management, finance management. So all those things comes into the picture. So what exactly can we do over here? All right. So what do you think will be the app solution from Zoho, which will allow you to streamline all of these? So what do you think? I think Navni, you can run one more poll over here.
Yeah. So you mean which are the applications, that one? Or?
That poll, yeah. You can just run the poll over here.
Yeah, run the poll.
Yeah.
You want to publish the result also once it is done?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. 1 second. All right. So I think I'll just publish the result. Hope you guys see that. So I think there have been a good amount of votes that have been, for the Zoho One application. All right. So, and there are few people who have voted for the CRM plus creator combination, and they've also included CRM plus inventory plus books, and some have voted solely for creator, and some have opted for CRM plus. So thank you guys. Yeah. So that's how how those applications can be, that we can use those applications to streamline any aspect, as you can see. So lead or tenant management club with, something like broker management, even with sales management. So you can cover those kind of things as you suggested with CRM, and even you can combine broker management with vendor management and even property management, etc. You can club that within creator. So you can use a lot of combinations over here. And if you want a bit where you can streamline the pre-construction, construction management, and material inventory management, so that takes up the planning part, right? So for those applications, for those segments or features or components, what we can do is we can even bring in Zoho projects into the equation along with Zoho inventory. All right. So that there are a lot of puzzles over here, but taking account over here, there are a lot of components that we have identified in this section. But before that, so these are all solutions that we have identified, and even you have now given us a view about that. Which be the ideal solution that we can suggest the specific a customer that is from the real estate vertical. So not just that, so there are solutions that we can offer. So we also have to look into the challenges that have been existing in the real estate industry, right? There are a lot of challenges as such with regards. We have identified the main challenges over here. So regulatory hurdles. So in a country like India, right? So there are a lot of hurdles with regards to getting approvals from for a real estate property or acquisition, right? And there are stringent policies like RERA Act and even other environmental clearances or NOCs for specific land acquisition. Those kind of things are pretty, it's pretty hard to get these approvals, and this will in turn cause delays in the projects, and that will in turn even affect the sentiments of the buyer. And the second hurdle is land acquisition, right? So land acquisition has been getting difficult, as we speak, right? The land acquisition part is getting very, very difficult because of the unavailability of land in a proper location, right? In a prime location, that is very difficult these days. So this in turn will increase. So based on the available land, this might increase the land cost and high land cost be there. And there are certain things where certain instances where we have even got, there have been cases where there are unclear ownership records. All right. Along with that, there might be existing legal disputes within the specific land that the customer might be eyeing on. So these kind of things club together without stringent policies of land acquisition will affect basically the process of acquisition, right? And this in turn will again impact the projects. So project delays is also another hurdle or challenge that all these real estate customers face. So regulatory hurdles clubbed with land acquisition in turn will lead to delay in the projects. So not just that, so there are also funding shortages that might happen. Even dependency on multiple approvals, as I mentioned, will also cause project delays, which will eventually lead to increase in project costs, right? And the project cost, as I mentioned earlier, it will basically affect the buyer sentiments, and that will lead to unsold inventory, right? So unsold inventory is another thing that has been picking up in the recent times. So there have been changes to the buyers' preferences, right? There have been earlier maybe some of the buyers might have been inclined to the luxury and high-end properties. So now the recent change or recent trend that we have been observing is they have been moving into sustainable and smart homes. That is their preference. So they're leaning towards those kind of solutions. So that will eventually affect the developers capability to adapt quickly. So not just that, all right. So unsold inventory with regards to this. So as I mentioned, since the buyers' preferences are changing towards sustainable homes, so what will happen to these existing unsold inventory in the high-end or luxury sector? So that will add up and that will lead to unsold inventory, right? So now what will happen is the developers will struggle to basically sell this off. And that will
Varun, just a second. Sorry to cut you off here. Chan, do you have anything to add on top of what Varun is explaining? Or
I
Archana?
think it's very neat for me, Sai. So whatever information that he has provided, it almost fits with the real-time challenges as well as the real-time challenges and as well as the aspects of the industry. Majorly, we can cover more about the how projects can be managed in terms like, let's say, a builder holding multiple projects and how materials can be procured and how those can be managed. So these are the areas that that could be more viable in terms of a builder's aspect.
Okay. And in case if we would like to have any of the participants talk through this session, we can allow them as well. In case if anyone has any relevant experience on this topic, any of the partners here, if you'd like to add your point here, please let us know. Sorry, Varun, please continue.
No issues. So as I mentioned, there is also something to do with, so all these challenges actually interlink to each other, all right? So due to market fluctuations, even the inventory might get unsold, right? So the market fluctuations can be external, right? It can be external due to many calamities, or it might be due to economic conditions, or due to the low interest rates offered by financial services. But this will in turn slow down the demand, right? So again, the market will fluctuate, and again, the buyer sentiments will change. So that's exactly what I want to talk about regards to challenges. Now let's take a look into the next part of which is actually very interesting. I think that is what everybody in the session might be interested. So that will be coming up in the next session. But we will just take a peek into what we have done with regards to the solution side of things from what we have developed in-house. All right. So with regards to this, let's take a look into the customer journey that we have managed to replicate within the CRM. So what we managed to do is we have designed something within our CRM from a builder's perspective, especially for the commercial and residential buildings. All right. So this is something we have developed in-house. All right. And what exactly it does is it will streamline all those operations that might take place between different teams. So as you can see, we have managed to club together the operations and the task of 3 different teams together. So there are different teams involved. As you can see, the pre-sales team, sales team, and post-sales team will work in tandem over here. So what we managed to do is we have managed to streamline these operations within the CRM. All right. So starting from the capturing of leads, qualification, interaction with the leads, conversion. So all those things will be managed for the pre-sales team within the CRM. And once the qualification has been done, right? So during the initial phase itself, or inquiry stage, right? So the lead might have reached out to us, all right, from so sales team, right, or pre-sales team. So maybe by phone call, email, chat, or website, or through website form. So all those things, or maybe maybe in-person visit to the sales office. So it might be all those things. So during that stage, the pre-sales and sales team might have jotted down the preferences, right? So we also have a preferences section dedicated to the inquiry where the buyer can specify the preferences, right? Preferences for specific property or a unit in an apartment. So it might be preferences to regarding the bedroom, or preferences to the maybe amenities involved, or maybe a preference like a north-facing or a south-facing apartment. So those kind of preferences, if it matches a specific buyer, the specific pre-sales person or salesperson involved in the opportunity, they will qualify this and they will schedule a site visit. Maybe it might be in person, or a in-person site, offline site visit, or it might be an online site visit. So the recent times there have been trends where customers also prefers online site visit. Maybe the customer might be based abroad somewhere, or they might not be able to make in time for the specific date they have scheduled the appointment for. So those kind of things have been taken into account while we design the solution. All right. The site visit is there, and along with that, if the specific customer has they have loved the property and they have managed to like it, and they have conveyed the information back to the team. So now the sales team will so basically they'll go into the specific module that we created, and they'll create the quotation. And once the quotation has been reached, so we have also done a few automation, and even if you want to make it a bit manual, you can do that. So based on the preferences, and you have sent out the quote, and if the specific customer wants to do a negotiation, that is also available. They can do the negotiation in different ways. They can do the negotiation maybe based on the unit cost, or maybe based on the square feet cost. So based on the negotiation, once they have accepted the quote, now unit will be confirmed, right? And will be ready to be sold. So now once that is done, now we can bring in the post-sales team over here, where the payment operations team steps in, and they will do the necessary, as invoicing, etc. They'll send the demand letter, and maybe along with that, they'll also send the agreement. Once the demand letter has been accepted and they have made the necessary payments, right? They'll send up the rental agreements, all those documentation that is required for making the, specific unit sale. They can do that over here, and they can store these documents, that everything that they've collected from the inquiry stage to the post sales. They can store the documents within the solution. And lastly, the key handover and other services we can also be tracked. So we have managed to do something within the solution, and we'll be showing this in the next webinar. So any questions? I think that's it from my end. Any questions so far?
Thanks, Varun. Thanks for the detailed overview of the real estate industry. So, as Varun mentioned, he has covered on what are the solutions that we can build using Zoho applications for the real estate industry, specific to verticals also, right? When I say verticals, it is either a residential or a commercial, and from a builder perspective, he has given a complete process overview of how the pre-sales team, sales team, and the post-sales team works, which is obviously everyone in the real time, every one of us know these process, but how this process connects to our application is what we have analyzed and we have built as a proof of concept. Few key features that I would like to highlight here is, I'm not sure how many of you know that we have a augmented reality feature in Creator, which can be used for a virtual site visit. Today, there are many builders who are also targeting the NRIs, and NRIs would be doing a virtual site tour, which can be easily achieved through the augmented AR feature that is available in Creator, and this can be integrated through CRM, right? Other one is the property listing, which again Varun spoke about in the pre-sales process. So when you have generally all the builders will have a call center team who would be just collecting the requirements from the buyer, and then based on the requirements they would be suggesting the properties, right? So either it can be land or apartments, any of the properties they might be suggesting, and this follows the cost sheet discussion, negotiations, and everything. So this has been built as a widget within CRM. Okay. Like probably we can just quickly show few key features alone within this webinar, but the end-to-end complete process that would be covered in our upcoming webinar series. Over to you, Chan.
Yeah, so thank you, Varun. That was wonderful, and people, I need to showcase that what a solution that we have developed in terms of real estate industry from a builder's perspective. Since we do have planning to schedule one more session based on, in order to explain more about our solution, to give a better flow about what we have done. Maybe today I can make this opportunity and give just a glimpse of the basic and very necessary features that we can use. Just give me a second. Maybe let me share my screen and can. Yeah. So the first thing that from a builder's perspective would be, in order to manage the projects, like I said, the important thing that they want is to manage. Excuse me. Yeah. So the important thing that they need to manage is their projects, like.
Chan, we are not able
Yeah.
to.
You're not able to see the design screen.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, but not the right screen.
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. Maybe I can share my. So how about now? Is it clean, right?
Yes.
Good. Fine. Yeah. So like I said, the major thing that a builder's focus would be to manage the projects, right from procuring the materials, setting up vendors, and do the design, construction, and setting up timelines so that projects can be delivered on time to the buyers. So these are the main things that they would be considering. In order to do so, they have to have a proper workaround on how they could manage all these things. So we do have, implemented something with the use of Zoho projects, where you'll be able to track out, the projects that you're working on, the stages that it, stages that it takes up, and you can also see the timelines and any materials or consumptions that they were actually being used. So it would be easy for them, and it will come handy so that you will be able to update the same to the buyer. So, and there will be, proper transparency between the buyer and the builder. Right from this, and once the project has been completed, and once the lead starts flowing in, the salesperson have to adjust with the requirements that were set up to address those buyers, and for that they need to showcase what properties that would actually match with the criteria they have responded to. In order to make that simpler, we have a widget called Prop Finder, where you will be able to list out all the properties that matches the criteria, right from what the budget is, where the location is, and what type of property that they want to choose, and the rest of the preferences that they would like to choose. So this is in terms of a residential type of real estate business. In case if you are focusing more on a commercial side, again, this widget will work the best with the changes in terms of what requirements that would be required. For example, if you are looking for some space to rent out for shops, or if it for an office space, the type of requirement that would change, right from how many, what the size that you would be requiring, and how many seats that need to be occupied, which floor that you would be looking out for, whether it be for lease or rent, and you need any safety, or a safety exit, or any other basic challenges that you have to look in for. So these are the things that we have considered, and this is one among the solution in terms of but this is in terms of a real residential property site, where the salesperson can also explain about the cost to the buyers, right from what how much area that the property is, and what is the basic cost, and other additional charges, and miscellaneous charges, right from GST, and uh, the basic additional costs that would incur in terms of buying a property. So this is one of the one among the feature that we have created in terms of a solution. The other major solution that we have developed is a virtual site visit, where any buyer who are not able to visit the property in person, and they want to explore the property virtually, we do have an option. Here we have developed a virtual site visit using augmented reality. This you will be able to visit the property. Let's say we can
Button, sorry to stop you there.
Sure.
We have a few questions regarding the cost and expenses against each stages. Can you please, if you want to take those?
I think Sai May has already answered it. Sai.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay. So yes, where was I? Yeah, while explaining about the units, it does have different rooms, right from a dining room or a hall, bedrooms, and corridors and everything. So we can actually create an augmented reality version using Zoho Creator, since Zoho Creator has a feature which is actually coolest feature here in Zoho Creator, and we can actually make something with this. And if the builder was able to give the property and the dimension of the property, and based on that we can actually create something using Creator, and this can be portrayed in any of the properties that were listed, right? So if you could see, we have one of the, what is it, one part of the property. Let's say this is a dining hall, and you will be able to view through it. You can actually zoom in and see, and you can actually rotate it, and it's a 360-degree view of the particular block. And one more thing is, we do have implemented this and created this using in mobile phone app, where you can, once you place it on a mounted surface or a normal surface, you will be able to see that that block, and you'll be able to again like it looks like you're virtually you'll be able to visit the entire atmosphere. So this is one of the coolest features that we have implemented in our solution. And apart from this, there are some solutions and the process flows, like how how the process flows right from buying and buying a land and handling the land and starting construction, and post that how lead can be generated and based on the requirements, how that can be converted, and till the end of the post sale, like how the payments are being handled, and post that how the property will be handed over to the buyer. So all these parts of our solution can be covered during our next session. So this is with respect to our solution, and over to you, Varun.
Gopinath, I think I've enabled the microphone for you. Please do, I think, you can ask your question. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I represent this company called Belladonna IT, and we are fairly focused on real estate and financial services. These two are our top two selling sectors. So, just as a feedback, today, if you look at salespeople in the real estate industry, most of them are engaging with the clients with a tablet. So in fact, personally also, I don't know when was the last time I gave a CRM demo on a desktop application. So my suggestion is that if it's possible, try and also show the tablet version of the VR walkthrough, the property details, etc., which is fairly easy because when you build an application in Creator, that form factor is already factored in. So, and the second reason is also that today the commercial offices of real estate companies typically will only have inside sales and customer relationship teams. The outbound sales are either moving around into events and venues or other properties themselves. So, in fact, that's what even I do today. Whenever we give a creator or a CRM demo, we also show them the demo on the mobile or a tablet form factor. This is just a feedback.
Thank you, Gopinath, for that. Yeah. So, any other questions, people?
Yeah. Any other questions, please? If you want to speak, we can unmute you, or if you want to please put across on the question answer.
Thank you, Gopinath, for your feedback. Around the same, requirement that you just said, here in the southern part of India, I mean, especially in Chennai, we could see the outbound sales is now outsourced to few different companies. Let's say there is Casa Grande who wants to promote their property. They outsource that to a few vendors, and those vendors put up stalls or maybe tents around the property, and they make some outbound sales. And they usually take the leads information in a pen and paper format, and we are thinking of going digital through that as well to understand which vendor is working out well in which area for which builder, all those information. So we definitely can consider that as well. Thank you.
So, who do we contact for a demo, customer engagement, partner pre-sales?
Yes, please contact the partner pre-sales, and we will be help you.
We will drop the email IDs now, and also via email will send the relevant contact details. And I'll also run a quick poll. Yeah, just this is generally we want to consider, like, moving forward, we want to focus other verticals also, and just we want to understand from this audience what kind of industry verticals do you have most traction. I think we have got more number of words for manufacturing followed with real estate. I think we are going the right order. We have covered manufacturing, now real estate. Hopefully, we will cover the other verticals as well. So we have another question. Is there any, if there is any collateral, preferably EDM, please share. Yes, sure, Gopinath. We will share it via email.
And interestingly, the real estate vertical is slightly coupled with hospitality industry nowadays, right? And we definitely will try to take that hospitality industry as well. I mean, that's a more interesting topic that is not covered until now. We've not concentrated or focused more on that, but if we start focusing on that, there are a lot of opportunities around that as well. Like how we have real estate where the builders hand over the property to the the societies or the associations, and then the association or the society takes care of the maintenance of the buildings or gatekeeping. Those kind of things are there. So relatively there is an hospitality sector as well. We could probably explore that route as well.
So Saurabh is asking a question saying, what is the average turnaround time for this project for go live?
Saurabh, we have created, as mentioned and shown by Chan, we have created few features, key features. If you have a prospective customer, we can collaborate and see how these key features can help you for the project to go live as soon as possible. It again depends on the customer requirements, right? How depth is the customer requirement, and if it is a generic process like covering the pre-sale, sales, and post-sales process that was explained by Varun, and not in depth of more into details, then I believe this can be completed within a 3 months or 4 months of span. This again, the project timeline depends on the depth of the requirement that your customer is bringing in. We also want to understand, like any of you are have worked in this real estate industry, and some other processes that was not explained by Varun here. We have some other process which the builders are focusing or the industry is focusing on. We also want to hear from you and take your inputs. Probably you can write to us in partner pre-sales mail ID, so we can collaborate and we can also discuss on this front.
So yeah, we have partners mentioning, they are ready to co-work, and some other partner, they want to reach out to the pre-sales team. So we have mentioned the email ID partner-presales@Zogo Corp. Please feel free to reach to us, and yeah, we are happy to help you on that front. So I think we are done with questions from the partners. Anything to be added from your end, Archana, Sai, or we can wind up for today?
Yes, Navni, we are done. Probably I just want to state one thing. The reason we have not covered the entire end-to-end process that we have developed using Zoho applications in this webinar is we need partners. We also need some time to explain. In our last series, we have got feedbacks that we have went fast with the webinars, or the process can be explained slowly. That's the reason we want to keep it as a separate session for showing us the features that can be developed and also your inputs. So probably before the next series we announce, you also can help us to understand more of what kind of features that you would like to for us to know the solution, or you can also suggest some solutions that that would help the other partners to know. So that's it, Navneet.
Thanks.
Archana, I would like to add on top of that. Sorry, Navani.
Yeah.
So during the manufacturing series, or maybe we have done a couple of webinars on the manufacturing series. Few of the partners here might have been there as well. And interestingly, there were a few partners who reached out back to us and asking if we can have some sort of a small group, maybe a conference, a smaller group, right? Maybe 10, 15 people from the manufacturing, and we just do a brainstorming session. Those kind of things were interesting. I mean, just in case here, if there are any partners who would like to get into those kind of engagements, if you would like to have Zoho do that kind of a presentation, please feel free to reach out to Navni or write to the partner pre-sales, and we will be more than glad to do those kind of smaller grouping sessions as well. It could be hybrid, I mean, in person, or it could be during this kind of an online webinar as well, a meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, Gopinath. Yeah, I think Gopinath has raised his hand. Please, Gopinath. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. See, with so much of thrust on manufacturing, made in India and all that stuff, if there's anything that we partners can't build this alone, because manufacturing, I come from a very strong ERP background. So, discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, the way you make paint, and is not the way you make, let's say, mobile phones. So it requires some amount of intense engagement with Zoho, because we are not privy to a lot of backend technologies and tools that can be used. For us, what is in front of us is what you announce. So it is important that we do this in a hybrid model. And if there is any group, a click channel that is being built, please sign me up.
Sure. Thanks, Gopinath, for your feedback. I think with this, we will end this session for today, and we will keep you posted for the forthcoming sessions. Thank you, Sai, Archana, Chan, May, and Varun for today's webinar. Thank you so much. Thanks, partners, for attending today's webinar.
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Yeah.
You all.